I remember the first time I learned about manifestation and I thought that was complete utter BS. And I was like, ain't no way this stuff works. So somebody told me that you should just try it for yourself. What you have to do is you have to close your eyes, you have to visualize what you want. I'm like, all right, eyes closed, visualizing. And she's like, get in the feeling of what you want and feel like, oh my God, it feels so great to have this. And now the more I did it, the more I was like, I'm so excited to have this thing and I'm going to be so happy when I have this thing. And I gave it so much importance in my mind, in my body. And I was like, I need to control things to get it. I need to do this. I need to do that. And the more I tried to control it, the more it was like pushing away from me. And then I developed a belief that manifestation doesn't really work. It is BS. And boy, was I wrong. But there's something called excess potential or excess importance that is actually the reason why most people are not able to manifest effortlessly, because they give that manifestation, whatever they want, they give it so much importance, and it becomes this whole thing about, oh my God, I want this thing and I'm only gonna feel good when I have this thing. And the more they want it, the more it's like it starts running away from them. And if this has ever happened with you and you're just like, what do I do about it? How do I let go? Because the advice to these people is let it go. And they're like, how the F do I let it go? Today we're going to be talking about how to let go and surrender to the universe. But before that, we're going to understand some principles of what actually happens with these things. What is excess importance? The more you want something, the more resistance you create in your energetic field. Now, what do I mean by that? We all have an energetic field around us. Now, you can't see this field, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There's this energetic field around you, and when you, so cool, I wish you could feel my hands right now because I can literally feel my energy. I just did this meditation right before starting this. Anyways, the more you want something, the more resistance you create in your energetic field. It's like because everything, understand this, everything in reality is neutral. Every season, think about winter, summer, spring, fall. It's like humans give it a meaning that, oh, I like winter more than summer, but God never gave it that meaning. God never said that, oh, summer is the superior month and winter is the scum of all months. Didn't happen, because everything in reality is neutral. It serves a purpose. The bees serve a purpose. The freaking, as much as we hate them, they do serve a purpose. We would actually, the entire world would collapse if it weren't for the bees. Everything in the universe has a meaning to why they're here. And so when they have this meaning, it's to say that nothing is greater than or inferior to another thing. But when we give something excess importance, excess potential, what we're saying is, I'm down here and this thing that I want is up here. And oh my God, I really want it because if I get this thing, then I'm going to be so happy. But guess what? The more you attach your sense of worthiness, sense of happiness, sense of fulfillment to that outcome, to that thing, to that person. A lot of people do this with people. Come on, think about this. Like when you start dating somebody, right? And I have actually a really good example for this. I remember reading a post once. Somebody said that, I was talking to this guy and everything was going super fine. And then I told my friends about him and suddenly everything went to crap. And it was very interesting because back when I read this post, I did not know about the law of excess potential. So I was like, okay, well, surrender. But back when I read this post, I didn't know this, right? When I was learning this, it hit me that this is exactly what happens. When you're telling your friends about this new guy that you're dating, right? It's been 3 days, you've started talking to this guy or girl if you're a guy, and then you start telling them about how incredible they are and and they're so good to you, they're so nice and they're so sweet, they're this, and you're literally by your energy is in a way giving them all this potential, all these qualities that they don't have, giving qualities to something that isn't there. You don't even know them that well yet, but you're giving them these qualities and like a halo on their head. It's this halo effect. And when you do that, you begin to feel like I'm not worthy for this person. As you're telling other people and you're making them sound so glorious in your mind, energetically, the energy that you're giving out is that because you're saying, oh my God, I really hope he's the one or she's the one. I really hope this works out. I really hope. And the more you do that, the more you're drifting that person away. You're creating resistance in your energetic field because you're creating this imbalance. Reality is supposed to be neutral. So to balance that energy field, to balance it out, what happens is that person, that thing starts to be repelled away from you. It's literally like, even if they try, your energy field is in a way that creates resistance around them. And now even if they try to come in, your energy resists them and it dies down. But the opposite happens when you stop chasing. Ever notice that? The moment you stop caring, the moment you're detached, the moment you're like, from your heart, not just with your mouth, but the moment you're actually like, you know what? I don't care. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The moment you walk away from the outcome, the moment you become detached, they come back. And that's not to say you should become detached just to bring them back. Rather, that it's the law. It's the law of life. Become detached for yourself, for your own sense of self-worth, for knowing that, you know what? I am good enough with or without this thing or this person or this job or whatever. Is just another thing in the world. And to help put this into put it into a deeper perspective for yourself, think about this. I am one of the over 8 billion people on this giant floating rock in this universe. I'm just one tiny little person. Does it really matter that much? Is it really that deep? And you're gonna realize that it's not. It's not that deep. So the more you want it, the more you create resistance and an energetic imbalance. Now, what happens with most people is, let's put this into a manifestation perspective, right? You're trying to manifest something and then you go like, okay, I want to manifest it, but also like I need to control things. Because most people are so used to controlling things. Controlling is like, it gives them a sense of certainty. Like you feel certain when you're controlling the outcome. You feel like, okay, well, as long as I am doing what I want, as long as I'm doing it exactly how I want. It's like manifestation isn't that, okay, well, I want this thing and this is exactly how and when and where and why and whatever. You cannot put conditions. It's all about letting go and going like, all right, this is what I want. I'm going to play my part for sure. I'm not saying go sit in a cave, manifest $1 million and somebody's going to bring it up to you. That's not going to happen. But do your part of the effort and let God surprise you. Leave room to be surprised. But when we get in this, I need to control everything energy, what we do is we create so much resistance and we don't allow the natural flow of energy. And I'll give you a very interesting example for this control. We begin to say, with control, we begin to say that this thing, this person is all I need. And I remember in my own life, there have been many moments where, there was something or someone or some, outcome that I really wanted. And I used to, I had this like sense of control that, okay, I want this thing and this is exactly how I want it. And I'm going to plan every step of the way. My past self was the biggest control freak you could have ever met in your life. Like for people who know me, they know that. Like to the point that I would tell my best friend that, okay, I want a surprise party for my birthday, but like this is how I want you to do it. Like I would plan the entire thing down to the cake, the cards, the invites, everything, and I'd be like, okay, surprise me, That's not how surprises work, man. So one thing I learned about letting go and surrender is that you cannot control everything and then expect to be surprised. You gotta leave room room to be surprised. So an interesting example I was talking about control was, I remember this time last year, I did this, program. It was like an 8-week thing, Unleash Her Power Within. And before I was starting, in my training pre-work, I wrote that, there was a section you had to write, what is your vision for, life after these 8 weeks? What's going to be happening for you? So one of the things I wrote is that I'm going to be prepping for my trip to Dubai, okay? And had no idea what trip, how I'm going, what I'm going for, nothing at all. All I said was trip to Dubai, okay? This event, it ties up to Unleash the Power Within, which is Tony's 4-day event. And on the 3rd day of that event, Tony asked this question on stage, okay? And he was like, raise your hand if you know the answer. And there were like 40,000 people in that virtual seminar. And I remember thinking, all right, dude, there's 40,000 people here. There's no way he's going to pick me, right? I didn't raise my hand. He asked like 3 or 4 questions. The first question, didn't raise my hand. The second question, before he asked it, he goes like, if you're sitting there thinking that there's 40,000 people here, there's no way I'm going to get picked. Of course you're not going to get picked. The moment he said that, I was like, all right, dude, no need to call me out like that. And I stood up and I started as soon as he asked the question, I started jumping and I was like, I know the answer. I know, I'm jumping in front of my screen, raising my hand, my digital, my virtual, whatever. And then I remember it was such a beautiful moment because Tony, they almost picked someone else to give the answer. But then he was like, wait, let's call her up. And the camera switched to me. And I was like, me? You're calling me? And it was like a whole thing. And it was a very full circle moment because I was like, oh my God, I talked to Tony Robbins. But then shortly after that day, there is a reason to the story. Somebody who saw me talk to Tony reached out to me on Instagram, and he wanted me to partner with him for his company, and turns out that he gave me a fully funded trip to Dubai. He sponsored me and booked my hotel, my everything, and I ended up even giving a short talk at one of his events. And I didn't even remember that I wrote that in my pre-training thing. I had just set the intention and I forgot it. I was like, it's in God's hands now. And the moment we do that, we allow life to surprise us. But if I was to be like, okay, well, if this is my goal, then this is exactly how it needs to happen. I need to book the flight. I need to know where I'm staying. I need to do this. I need to know. Our need to know is our need for certainty. Because we think that as long as I am in control, everything's safe. I know how it's happening. And we have this illusion that if I am not in control, I'm not going to get what I want. And that's the biggest BS lie we can ever tell ourselves. Because the truth is that, let me give you this for a perspective, right? If I tell you today that, if, you and I are working together and I tell you that, hey, we're going to get, let's say you want to manifest $100,000, okay? I go hey, there's this big client thing we're closing tomorrow and I'm going to give you a check for $100,000. Will you believe me? I'm hoping you say yes. And I'm hoping that, you trust me enough to say yes. And you're not going to spend the day before the day I give you that $100,000 check worrying about, oh, where's that client going to come from? And how is Anna going to get that money? And is she even how is it going to happen? What should I do? Should I You're not going to do that. You're just going to be cool, man. I mean, hopefully you're more excited than that. And you're just but my point is that you're going to be okay, cool. You're not going to be worried about it. So if a human is telling you something and that is creating a sense of certainty for you, because you can see the human, you can hear the human, you can believe the human. But when has the divine ever let you down? When have you surrendered and been let down by God? This one time I was in this super big financial challenge and I needed a win, I was God, and I was exhausted and I had a really, disempowering day and I was super sad and I cried a lot that day, and by the time I was going to bed, I remember I was just like, I looked up at the sky and I was just about to fall asleep. And I was like, God, I am tired. I am done. Ball's in your court, man. And I went to sleep. And I woke up and I got this offer for like somebody who wanted me to work for them for an hour to hourly basis for $35 an hour. And I was just like, what? Another time I needed like a specific amount of money, and I remember I tried everything in my control, and then finally I felt super defeated, and I just looked up and I was like, God, you know what? It's on you, man. You take care of it. 30 minutes later, I'm not even kidding. Somebody texted me and they wanted me to do a project for them, and it was the exact amount of money that I had been wanting. So what I'm saying is that when we let go of control, we allow God to surprise us. We think we have this illusion that, oh, if I control, then only I'm going to get what I want. But what I'm suggesting is that what if you let go and you got something way better than you ever thought you could have had in the best way possible? Like, it is our ego that tells us that I know better. I need to control it because I know better. It's the I. But when you kill the I, not like literally kill, but when you let go of the I and you go like, all right, God, this is what I want. I'm going to play my part, and the rest, how it happens, is up to you. When you do that, then you allow something better to come into your life. Then you have this knowing that, you know what, if this works out, it's great. And if it does not, then there is something even better for me. Because the core belief here with excess potential is that something is wrong with me. I am not worthy. That is the core belief. Because when you put something or someone on a pedestal and you're saying that, getting or having this thing or being with this person or whatever is what's going to make me feel good, you're saying I'm not enough the way I am. And you're also saying that when we say everything in reality is neutral, it's almost like you're saying that, okay, well, you know what? What if I were to ask you, is the sun more worthy than the moon? Are the bees more worthy than the tigers? Is the grass more worthy than the clouds or the ocean? You're going to say, no, everything is in perfection. So when you're saying that this thing, this person, this whatever is more important than me, you're saying that God has created everything in reality perfectly, in perfect balance, perfect harmony, perfect neutrality, but me. I am the exception. You don't understand, Anna. I am broken. I need to be fixed. This thing or this person, that's going to fix me. That's going to fulfill me. Why? As a baby, we can all agree that a baby, when they're born, they're worthy as they are. No matter how many times the baby cries, no matter how many times the baby will shit itself or herself, whatever it does, God damn, why do I keep saying it? I guess gender neutrality. But no matter how many times a baby throws up, cries, whatever it does, keep saying it. You're still gonna say that the baby is worthy. But somewhere along the road to adulthood, we stop believing in our inner worthiness. And we start believing this lie that I am not enough, which is why I need the thing, the person, the outcome. There's this dependence to be happy. You create these rules for happiness. This is what I need to feel happy, to feel fulfilled. But what if you were always worthy? What if all those beliefs you had about yourself not being worthy were just lies, and you can now let go of them, and you can now surrender to the knowing that God does not create things for no reason, that you have a purpose, an innate purpose. And being worthy doesn't mean that we're perfect. None of us are. And imperfection is a part of being human. And so if imperfection is a part of our humanness, then doesn't it mean that in our core, no matter who you are, what your story is, you are worthy. You are enough. And when you trust God, when you trust the divinity, in everything in life, you get what you need. You get better than what you need, So the cure to this whole thing are 4 things. First of all, acceptance. Now, acceptance of what? Acceptance of what? Acceptance of the fact that we are all flawed as humans. That nobody is more special than another. That you think that you are imperfect because you know yourself the best. And you think that this other person is they're more worthy than you because you don't know them that well. You can never. We can only know ourselves the best. And so while you're putting them on a pedestal and thinking that they're so incredible, you don't know their story. You don't know what keeps them up at night. You don't know what they feel guilty about. You don't know what they're angry about. You don't know what what is their biggest regret in life. You're judging their filtered perception. They're only a part of them that you've seen versus all parts of you. And that's why you come to this conclusion that they're up here, I'm up here. When both of you are up here. We're all up here. We're all equal to one another. Nothing makes us better or worse. And acceptance of the parts of us that we believe are not worthy of love. Acceptance of our shadows. I will do another training on what shadows are, how to understand them, how to, what shadow work is and stuff later on. So I'll link this when I'm done with it down below later. But for now, acceptance of all those parts of ourselves that we believe are broken. And just bring them all into your heart and recognize, close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are enough. That you are loved. That all you need is already within you. That thing or that person isn't going to come and fulfill you. All you need to be fulfilled is already in here. So maybe trust in yourself, trust in God, The second part is surrender. Letting go is freedom. When we let go, let it go, let it go, like in the words of that Frozen character. Anyways, surrender, letting go. That's the whole theme today, letting go. Because when we let go, like we talked about, why did I just turn British? We make space in our lives for miracles. We make space for the unexpected things to happen. We make space for God to surprise us. And we make space for things that are not good enough or worthy of us to be filtered out. I remember someone said this thing that people's rejection is God's protection. And maybe if you let go and you trust that if the thing or the person is good enough for you, if it's actually what you deserve, then you're going to get it. And if it's not, then it's going to take itself out. So trust that. Trust that if it's enough for you, then it's going to come to you. And be in your own frame, be in your own energy field. Third, see it as a natural. See yourself, when we talk about manifestation, see yourself living that life as a natural thing. It's not that you're here and that manifestation is here. No, make it equal. See it as it is. See it as natural, that it's natural for me to be that person. It's natural for me to attract love. It's natural for me to make X amount of dollars. Let go of importance. Don't be oh, it's going to be so good when it comes here. It's natural for it to happen because that's my natural reality. Change the self-image you have of yourself. So when you do that, you begin to see things as a natural. And finally, be a star in your own movie, man. This is your life. I am a side character in your life, and you are a side character in my life. So just, be the star of your own movie. Give yourself that sense of, and it's not to say that be a narcissist or see people, inferior to you. Nobody's superior to you. Nobody's inferior to you either. We are all equal. I'm no better than you are. You're no better than I am. We're all equal. We're all just human beings. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. So I hope that, you found this super helpful, and I hope that you finally do let go and see your own sense of self-worth. Thank you so much for watching. And if this actually helped you, tag someone below to, or invite someone to this group so that they can also benefit from it. Bye-bye.